Goldilocks Productions celebrates 4 years of broadcasting spiritual and metaphysical podcasts, radio, and TV shows. Thank you, listeners and supporters. Season 5 begins now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Enjoy the Goldilocks Productions presentation of the In the Psychic Flow Show with Carolan Carey.
I'm very happy to be here. My phone is beeping a little bit. I apologize. We have a beautiful sunset here in Sarasota, where we are speaking to you from. Fortunately for us, Dorian missed us, thank goodness, and we are praying for everyone affected, North Florida, Northeast Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia, etc. Our thoughts go out there to you, batten down the hatches, and take care of your pets. If there's anything that we can do vibrationally, we will send that to you and healing to you as well. So good evening. Without speaking a lot about my wonderful and delightful guest, I do have to give you an interesting intro on Everdora Williams, Evie, as I call her, or she is known. She is a psychic intuitive, and I have to say I have worked some psychic fairs with Everdora, or Evie. The last few years, I have been alongside her, and I have seen many people visit her. She does some psychic fairs, of course, to meet and greet new clients and her regular clients. And I watched the people fascinated by the information that she gave them. You know they're really good when the pro psychics go to them. And that's what I saw with Evie. She has a lovely and delightful, down-to-earth personality, very insightful. I understand her readings are fabulous. She is going to give some samples of that this evening. Evie became aware of her psychic abilities after the death of her mom, and she's probably going to speak to you about that. They're very prophetic dreams. But she also taught herself how to do several types of readings with specialty cards, and she can speak about that as well. I am delighted to bring Evie Williams on the air with us this evening. Evie, you there?
Yes, I am, Carolyn. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous, and I can't wait to speak to you. You are just such a nice person, and I get such a nice a feeling about you, and I'm watching you work, and you are really outstanding. So talk to us about how you kind of taught yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And it all, excuse me, I'm so sorry. It all started, actually, I wasn't aware that I had psychic abilities when I was much younger. But when it really hit me that I had these abilities was after my mom passed away. I always had dreams here and there, but I always chalked it up to a coincidence, that kind of thing. And then my mom passed away in 1976, and I was going through a really bad marriage. My daughter was about 3 years old when she passed. And my mom would come to me in dreams and show me things that my ex-husband was going to do. And I didn't understand it at first. And then a couple of times he showed up in places that my mother showed me in dreams. And I was like, oh, my God, you got to pay attention because Mommy's talking to you. She's telling you this. So after I started paying attention to that, I would, when I got the dreams, I wouldn't go to those places, but people that I knew that I would run into here or there, like at the grocery store or whatever, they would say, oh, hey, you know, I saw your ex-husband at such and such a place. And I was like, oh, that's right where Mommy told me not to go. And I'm so glad I did not do that. So
wow.
I sat down because I used to go to readers myself after my mom passed away. And then, you know, things get to a point where sometimes it's a little bit difficult because I'm raising my daughter by myself, and I couldn't always afford to go to readers. And back at that time in 1978, there weren't really that many readers around anyway because it was like taboo to even think about something like that. So I came across these cards in a gift shop one day, and I said, well, these are really beautiful. And I picked them up, and I decided, I'm just going to take all the really pretty cards like the Sun and the Lovers, you know, the Two of Cups, that kind of thing. And I put them up on the wall. And I had them there for a while. And then one day something was troubling me really bad. I needed an answer. And I said, you know, you have cards. Why don't you just try to read the cards for yourself? And so I pulled the cards off the wall, put them together with the rest of the deck, and I got the book, and I just sat down and I started reading, and I was like, okay, I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I had friends that found out that I was playing around with the cards myself, and I'd only been trying to teach myself about 2 weeks at this point. And this one gentleman said to me, please, 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 please give me a reading. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but he begged me. So I said, okay, but you have to understand, I got to read from the book, look at the cards, and tell you what I think. And so I told him what I thought, and he came back to me about a week later, and he said, Evie, you are really good. I was like, huh? What are you talking about? He said, everything you told me came true. I didn't understand it. So over time, then after a while, my family started asking me to read for them, and they kept telling me how good I was, and friends too. Sometimes after work on a Friday night, we go to a restaurant and sit down, and we'd have nachos, and there would be like 6 or 7 of us that work together, and I would bring the cards, and I would do a reading for everybody at the table, and I'd be like, God, you were so good. I was like, oh, my God.
Wow, that you could read people like that so soon.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
I was so surprised. It took me years to really actually believe in myself that I really had the abilities.
So do you feel it's your mom in spirit helping you with this?
Sometimes I do think that my mom is there helping me, but I don't always feel my mom. When I get things from her is really more through dreams.
Oh, okay.
And she'll come to me. Like I had one of my first cousins. We share the same birthday. He's 2 hours older than me, and he passed away last year. And my mom came to me, and I hadn't heard from her in a dream in a very long time. And she came to me, and she took me back to my very early childhood. And I'm like, Mom, why are you showing me this? To my grandmother's house. And I'm like, why are you showing me this? And I kept seeing all these little toddler toys being thrown out of the basement of my grandmother's house. And I'm like, what's Mom trying to tell me? And then I realized, okay, my grandmother's talking to me about my cousin and our birthday, and a couple of days later I found out that my cousin had passed away. And I was like, Mom, that's what you were trying to tell me.
So she gives you like a prophetic thing. When you are reading clients, that's very interesting, and God bless her, that's a great thing. There must be a tremendous bond between the two of you. And
she was
I was curious.
Lady.
Oh, I'll bet she sounds delightful. I'm wondering, though, I know for myself, when I first started with a tarot deck, I was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't get the answer I wanted, I kept flipping cards. So I don't trust myself. So that's why I would start going to other people. Like, I would get things, but I didn't trust it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't like the answer, I would flip more cards. So I'm not really good at that, but you must be very good at trusting your intuition. I think that what I find even more fascinating about you, I find everything fascinating, actually, but the different types of cards that you do You use Egyptian tarot, Hermetic tarot, Dream tarot, angel, fairy. How do you decide when you have someone like this evening? If we have a couple of callers queued up, if you're going to do a sample reading, a mini reading for somebody, how do you know what deck you're going to go to? Do you go by feeling? You go by the sound of their voice? How would you decide?
I don't go by sound of voice, but I normally, like at the psychic fairs, I usually bring my tarot cards with me, just the regular gilded tarot. And then I also have my fairy cards, and I have my shamanic medicine cards with me. And I usually start off, also my fairy cards. Now, sometimes I'll get a feeling before I go, and I'll feel like, you know what? I'm being told to read the fairy cards. So for a while, that's all I was doing was reading the fairy cards, and I was spot on, which was amazing to me. But then suddenly it was like, okay, you have to shift to the Gilded Tarot. So I'm reading the Gilded Tarot. And then in the middle of doing the reading, like the best way I can describe it, because sometimes people say to me, well, how do you really know? And the thing is, it's like a thought that slides in on a word.
Right.
And it'll just come to me, and then something will say to me in the middle of the reading, pull out your shamanic cards.
Okay.
Depending
so
on
you
who's
have
in front of me. And it's
either a spirit or guides around you, or someone is speaking to you, correct?
Yes. But it's funny.
So that's what's coming through for you to guide you, right?
Yeah, well, I get it's like my instincts. My instincts will guide me, because it's not that I always hear somebody saying. I don't really hear voices, so it's not like I'm hearing somebody say, pull out these cards or whatever. It's like a feeling that I get, and in the middle of reading, I'll see something there sometimes, and then it'll be like, you need to pull the shamanic cards out, or you need to pull the fairy cards out. And recently, I kept the last psychic fair where you and I were sitting right next to each other.
Yes.
For some reason, it kept coming to me in between people coming to sit down. It kept coming to me. You need to throw. You just need to throw. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? You need to throw. So I'm like, well, what is it? And I kept feeling like animals. I kept feeling like I need to throw something dealing with animals. So I said, okay, well, maybe the spirit is trying to tell me that I need to, really look more into like the animal totem tarot cards, stuff like that. And then it kept coming to me. You still need to throw, and I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to throw, because I could see. Sometimes I get a picture in my head, and I can see it. And so I could see myself like shuffling like a leather pouch and something like runes. And I'm like, and I keep feeling myself throwing.
Throw the runes. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? Maybe I need to start doing runes. But
that's not an easy thing to do either.
No.
Let me just interrupt you a moment and bring your website up so people know how to contact you and read more about your story, which I find so interesting. A lot of people are very intuitive, and you are a prime example of someone that trusts that intuition. A lot of times we dismiss it, or individuals who may not be aware of a spirit guide or whatever, so they're going by intuition. And if it's not practiced, they don't want to trust it. You're a prime example of why you should trust your intuition. Very, very good. And your website is fairydustcardreadings.com. You are known for your fairy dust readings with an S on the end. Fairydustcardreadings, plural.com. And you use several decks, but I think you're very well known for the fairy for the fairy dust card readings, obviously, as that's the name of your business. I have a couple people waiting. Would you like to take some calls?
Sure.
Okay, great. We go by their area code, and I have someone who's been very patient. Area code 256. Are you there, please?
Yes, my name is Kimberly, and I'm calling from Georgia. How are you?
I'm
good.
Fine, thank you. And yourself,
I want to introduce you to Evie. Will be glad to answer a question for you. So you state your question.
Okay, my question
Okay, Kimberly, what is your question?
So my question is, I am in the process of switching careers. I'm in one career in education, and my heart is pulling me towards clinical psychology. And I just want to know what you did with that.
Okay. Well, first, even before I pull a card, we're talking instincts now, and your heart is a big, big, big sign that you need to pay attention to that. So before I pull a card, I'm going to just tell you from my instincts that you should follow your heart and go that way. All right. Okay. I just pulled a card. It's the King of Cups. Now, let me ask you, have you been speaking with a gentleman in regards to this career move that you want to make?
That's been in my thoughts. That's on my agenda to talk to, because I have a friend who's a therapist that I'm going to talk to.
Is it a man?
Yes.
Okay. I will tell you, I pulled the King of Cups, so he's a very sensitive, a very kind person. I think that you should follow your instincts and definitely talk to him. I'm going to pull another card. I see that you might feel a little hesitant after you talk to him about it, and it might be in relationship to your ability to meet your bills, so the kind of money that you would make. So, of course, that would be something that you would need to talk about, but let that be the last thing. But I think that this gentleman would really help you in moving towards that way. And I also feel that he would most likely, once you get to know him, and if you're actually working with him, you're going to find him to be very spiritually oriented. So you making this move is going to lead you on a deeper spiritual path, which is good. Okay. And it would be a good move for you. I think you'd be happier.
Okay.
Wow, that's a great message there, Kimberly. Thank you for calling in, and Evie, that was beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you. That was well done, Evie. Our callers really appreciate that. Our next caller is area code 646. 646. Are you there, please?
Yes. Hello. Yes. Hello.
Hi.
That's New York.
Yes, that's right. I'm calling from New York.
I'm originally from New York. That's why I know the area code.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was impressed because usually people will associate 212 with New York, but then you knew 646 was New York, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the more recent area codes.
Mm.
And your name is?
My name is Mary.
Hi, Mary. How can I help you?
Hello, ladies.
What would you like to know?
Well, I also have a career-related question. I'm currently at a place where I need to move on from, and I had to call a lawyer to negotiate with my employer, and I'm just wondering what the outcome is going to be. I expect an answer by next week, and I was just wondering, do you see that happening, and, an affirmative one? And then,
so you want to know what the legal aspect of it, what the outcome is going to be from the legal. I imagine that is the case that you have going on regarding your employment. Is that correct?
Yes. And whether the negotiation is going to go in my favor, which I believe it will, and Also, the second part of my question has to do with an organization that I would like to work at. And next week, I'm going to be attending the opening night at this musical organization. And I'm just wondering if I'm going to be able to get an offer from that place.
Okay, I'm going to answer your question backwards. The one about the offer, you're going to love that one, okay? I've got the Nine of Cups and the King of Pentacles, and so that offer is going to be really, really good. So just go for that one. Now, jumping back to the legal situation, this has been going on for quite some time, the legal matter. Is that correct?
No, I mean, I had a lawyer write a letter initially last month. And
okay.
Yeah. So it's fairly recent.
Okay. Well, I'm not exact. Did he show you the letter before he actually mailed it?
He showed me a draft.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't send it out yet, did he?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Did he send it out yet?
He sent it. He told me that he was going to send it a few days ago. And judging from the expressions of the people that I work with, I think that they received an email copy. And he also mailed a hard copy by a snail mail. So they probably will receive that by tomorrow if they haven't already received it.
Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you about that letter. I got the Nine of Wands in reverse. So that tells me, and that deals with communication, so that tells me that it's not going to be received very well on the other side. There's some issues that are there that they will probably have to work out some more, so you're not going to get the kind of response that you're looking for right away. Let me just put it to you that way. That's initially. Now, a little bit further into the future, I'm going to say this to you. Are you happy, or have you been talking with this attorney for a while, or is he somebody that you just met?
No, I have spoken to him and worked with him before, and he seems to be a tempered person, so it's not as though he goes in for the kill, even though attorneys do need to strike a balance between making a point and being somewhat aggressive, and also just knowing when
What's
to
your take
not be
on that?
Well,
Evie, what
I
is
know
your
how
take on a lawyer?
Because I worked for them for 26 years, so.
Oh my!
I know.
Oh my
how
goodness!
they are.
Well, you know them well.
Okay. Yes, I do. Okay, what I want to say to you is, once you get your communication straightened, before he sends anything out, just make sure that you're in agreement 100% or close to 100% with him before he sends any communication out. I think he's a good guy. He's the King of Cups. That's coming back again. So he's a good guy. He's steady. He knows what he's doing. He will bring this suit favorably for you, but I just think that as far as communication is concerned, make sure both of you are on the same page, or that you're not leaving out any information that's vital that he needs to know. So sometimes, you may share certain things with him, but you think, oh, really, that's not that important, so I won't tell him. And it turns out that he does need to know. So when you're talking with him, just whatever pops up in your mind, follow your instincts and say, what do you think about this because thus and so happened, whatever. I think it might be a little bit silly or it may not be important because that's what you're thinking. but you need to put that out there to him so he can tell you whether or not it's actually important. Because I feel like you have some information that's hidden inside of you that he needs to know. And once he has that, you two, your communications will be spot on, and he'll be able to bring that lawsuit to fruition for you. He'll be able to get it under control. I think it's going to take a few months, though, before it's settled.
Good job, Evie. Thank you so much for calling in, Mary. I think you got some very good read there. Okay, so you have a lot to consider.
Yes, and I have a new job to look forward to also.
Yes, you do.
You
so
do,
good
girl.
luck to you.
Go for it.
Go for it. Good luck to you. Evie, I wanted to mention to our listeners that not only doing private readings, but you do tarot card classes for beginners as well. Now, you're starting this month, September 23rd through September 26th, 7 to 9 p.m. This was of interest to me as well. How to read tarot cards. And if you don't have a deck, you can get one. You don't know what to do with them. You can get them on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And you don't have to leave the comfort of your home. Classes will be held via Zoom video conferencing. You're the bomb.
Thank you.
You are. Listeners, you got to get on to this. Once again, fairydustcardreadings.com. Readings, plural.com. Beginner's Tarot. Don't miss this opportunity to use your intuition as Evie has displayed how good she is at this. Boy, that's fascinating. I'm so glad that you brought that up. Yeah, I bet it is
I think they'll have fun doing it. You know, we just throw it out there, just have the cards, and we'll throw it out there. We'll do it kind of impromptu. It's different because we're doing it video conferencing, so we're not in the same room, but you won't have to worry. Everybody will get a chance. We'll, do little mini readings for each other. And then we'll just go through the major arcana, the minor arcana, and the suit, things like that. And later on, we'll have other more advanced classes. But this is just really to get your feet wet. Let's put it that way, because I really feel like there's some of you out there that have been saying to yourself, I think I really want to know more about the tarot. Because I think overall, in general, the overall humanity, more and more people are starting to become more aware of their own personal instincts and their spiritual intuition. And they just need a little push to help them feel a little bit better about what it is that they're going through. Because sometimes they're like, I can't figure out what's going on. And really it's the spirit that's nudging you to go a little bit deeper. So that's what we'll do. We'll have fun.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing that up. That's fabulous. I'm sure our listeners will be very interested in that. And distance is no problem, so please check out Evie's website at fairydustcardreadings.com. On that, we have another caller, if you're ready. Area code 515.
Okay, where's that? I don't know that one.
I don't either.
It's Iowa.
Iowa, hello there. It's Evie for you. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, so mine's a work-related question. Do you see things getting better at work? It's kind of a stressful time.
Okay. You know what? Okay. I got really good cards here. You may be going through some stress, but I don't see it. What I do think is there may be an opportunity that really excites you, that makes you feel really happy, that you may want to jump on. So it's not something that's obvious in front of you right now, but I do think there's an opportunity for you to either leave and go on a vacation somewhere. Either you're going to meet someone that was just, you'll hit it off really nice, or this could be your soulmate or whatever. But I see more happiness coming for you. Job related, I don't see that so much. I just see something really, really good that's going to make you feel very, very happy. And it's going to click with you with somebody else. It's like a partner or something like that. And the truth of the matter is I really don't think it's something that's very obvious to you right now. It's just going to, Uranus is going to just jump in there and just shock the living daylights out of you. And you'll be like, whoa, I'm going to jump on this. Because I see either a trip, either you're going to leave that job or there's a trip or something like that, but there's something really good in store for you.
Is that coming up soon? Hopefully.
Yes. Absolutely. I got the 8 of Wands here. That's like tomorrow. Not literally tomorrow, but it's pretty imminent. Yeah, it's going to happen really soon, and it's going to be really, really good. Are you single?
Yes. Well, hopefully it's my Calgon man who will take me away from my crappy job.
Okay, well, let me tell you, either that or you may just suddenly decide to go away somewhere unexpectedly, and you may meet that special person right there. Because I've got the Lovers, the major arcana, the Lovers, so if it doesn't turn out to be job-related, then I think that you're going to meet your soulmate. That's what I know. You know, sometimes when you ask questions, you read, and this happens often. People will come to me and they'll have a specific question that they have in mind, but the spirit says, "No, I got something more important that I need to tell you." And so that's what will come up, and that's what I have to tell them. And then they'll say to me, "Oh, well, you know, whether or not they feel it's good or if it's bad, most of the time they usually feel like it's good." But after I tell them everything, then they'll say, "You know, I didn't come in here for that, but I had this particular question, but the Spirit said this is what you need to know." And then I'll just go on and I'll read about the particular question that they're asking about. This, what I have in front of me, is not telling me about your job. I think that you are going to go somewhere and you're going to meet your soulmate.
That's
I think
very
you're going
interesting.
To be very happy.
I've been told that I'll meet someone traveling abroad, and I love to travel abroad, but I don't foresee me doing that for at least a year.
It's going to happen. If Evie says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And thank you so much for calling in, dear.
Yes,
unexpectedly.
Thank you very much.
Evie, that's a fabulous reading, and thank you so much, caller, for calling in.
Thank you.
You have a good night. You know what's interesting, Evie, is this is very true, especially when you're doing psychic work. I do some psychic work, but mostly I speak to people's departed loved ones. That's my niche, really. When I do a little psychic work, people always ask me that. Not everybody wants to speak to dead grandma, you know. But sometimes Spirit will come in with some insight or guidance. But if they ask me for a psychic impression, you know, it's not always, you may get information, but it's not always what they're asking. It's what's more important. It seems like the universe or the spirit world or intuition or whatever it's called seems to know the answer to what you really need. You know, like they'll ask a question, but then there's another part to it. And it will be that other part that comes out, like something that they need to adjust about themselves or something they need to look at. It's very interesting work, isn't it?
It is. It really, really is. And the one thing that I like about doing it is because I'm older now, so I've had life experiences. So sometimes people will come and sit down in front of you, and they'll have questions, and you'll go and answer it. You're looking at the card. You're going by your instincts. And also because of some of your everyday experiences, you're able to help give them guidance to help them out of whatever difficult situation they may be in at that particular moment. And when I say difficult, doesn't have to mean that it's traumatic difficult, but just a particular decision, like most people saying, should I stay in my job here or should I take this promotion? Should I, that kind of thing. That's not a traumatic thing, but it's something that's really important to them. And then sometimes with your own personal experience, that plays into, your readings as well, because sometimes that comes across very strong too. But like you said, there are times when people come and they have a specific question, but the spirit is saying, no, this is more important and this is what you need to know. And that's what they show me, and all I can do is just communicate it to them. Because
that's
when
very true. Very true. A lot of it is counseling, is sort of a spiritual counseling in a way. Some people just need to find their way out of the forest sometimes. They're not aware of the opportunities around them. Sometimes we're blind to it. We just don't see. We're fixated on one thing. Like we might be fixated on a guy and not realize we have a new career path, or be fixated on the career, not realize that the love of our life is about to walk in. So that was very interesting.
Exactly.
Very interesting what you brought up. Let me take advantage of the situation and ask you something. Now, I don't get a lot of readings myself because you're busy doing them. But what I do think about, and I've had a few things come up, I had started a book, and I haven't finished. I'm about halfway through. And I haven't finished it. I thought I would finish it. That was when I retired 2 years ago. That's what I was going full-time into my business, retired from my full-time job. And I said, I'm going full-time into my business. I've been doing it part-time for about 10, 12 years. And I said, okay, I started this book about 5 years ago, and I can't get back to it. And I said, I need to finish this book. But then I had a reading by Myrna, the Master Palmist. You probably know her.
Yes, Miss Myrna.
And she said that,
she's wonderful.
right? And she's wonderful. And she said, that's not the book. You are going to write a book, but the book you're looking at is not the one you're going to finish. She goes, don't bother with that. You can do that later. So I was like, oh, no. And ever since then, I've been walking around going, I keep getting from Spirit, the book. It generates income. It's interesting, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, what book? What am I writing on? Do you have any insight on that or anything else? I'll take it. I don't.
All right. Before I pull your card, I just want to say to you, I'm going to go along with Miss Myrna on that. With one little exception. I think you will eventually write that book. But like she's saying, there's a different book that's coming out to you. So you're feeling like troubled because you can't figure out what it is. And what I want to tell you is, based on what I'm pulling here, what I want to tell you is the Spirit is saying relax. Don't worry about the book that I want you to write. The Spirit is waiting for you to get over the nervousness about it and stop focusing on the other book and stop worrying about the book that the Spirit wants you to write. I'm also hearing that you may get your answer through a dream, but the Spirit is saying once you balance out your emotions about writing, period, that's when it's going to come to you. And it may have something specifically doing with earth energies. Connecting the, I feel like you've heard of automatic writing, correct?
Oh, yes.
All right. I feel like you may have some form of like automatic writing, except that I don't really see your hand going across the paper and you're not aware of it. But your medium, there's somebody out there, there's a specific soul out there that's going to just come to you. It'll be something when you least expect it. But when you least expect it, it will happen at the time when you are feeling most comfortable and balanced with yourself. It's like, Nothing's bothering me. I'm fine. I'm good with it, whether I write the book or not. You know, it'll come. And when you're in that space, that's when Spirit's going to bring somebody or dream or something like that. And it could come from a living human being, but it could also come from, or a part of it come from someone on the other side that will put it together, and then it'll click in your mind, and you'll be like, oh, that's it. And then you'll sit down immediately and you'll start writing. And then after that, you'll just go and go and go. But I do think...
Yes, I believe that to be true, because the last book is definitely channeled material. You know, maybe a story I want to tell, but it's definitely influenced by either a spirit guide or someone. You're right. Absolutely right. So, well, that's good. I will stop worrying about it.
All right. Definitely do that. But I want to tell you something else, okay?
Okay.
With your book, the one that you think you should be writing, the one that Miss Myrna told you, forget about that book for now.
Yeah.
It's showing me that it's definitely not clear to you, and you don't know which way to go with that other book in the first place.
You're right.
So
you're absolutely right.
It's saying leave it alone, and are you married, Carolan?
No, I'm widowed.
Or are you? You are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have to tell you this because I pulled more cards out because they're calling me, asking me to do that. I feel like once you leave that book alone, I feel like you're going to meet somebody too. I feel like you're going to meet another person who feels like a soulmate to you, and either just before that particular time or sometime after it. That other book is really the one that you need to be writing is going to start coming forward. But you're definitely going to meet somebody else.
Oh, okay. My producer is texting me via Skype. She's like, ha. She's laughing because I've had a few readings on air before, and I've been told this. Now, I always say my dog Marley, my big mutt, he is the love of my life, I say, and he's husband number 3. That's what I tell everybody. So she's laughing. She's like, oh, I hear wedding bells. She's texting me. I hear wedding bells.
But I could tell you this much: it's definitely not the dog.
Yeah. That's
it's
what
not
people
the
have
dog.
told me. Oh,
yeah.
that is too. That
you
is
love
too funny.
your dog. Your dog is going to be there, but that's not it. Nope. This is a human being, a man. There's another man that you're going to meet that you're going to, and I feel that this man will be pretty spiritually oriented himself. Don't go looking for him. He'll just show up. He'll just show up.
Well, that's pretty interesting. I hate to let Marley down that he's not the husband number 3 because he thinks he is.
There
he bosses me around and has to have my attention all the time.
And he'll still be bossing you?
Yes, my dog, he's
husband.
an American Bulldog. He's bossy. Yeah, he's bossy. He wants to eat. Now he's drinking a gallon of water. He had to go bury his bone. They're all everybody's misbehaving in this house right now because they know they're supposed to be quiet. But thank you so much for that, Evie. You know, that is so insightful. And I have been told that, and it's hard to believe at this stage of the game, but I guess when Spirit has a way of making it work, I guess it'll work. So that puts me, my producer now is chiming in. She goes, does she have a message for me? This
you know
is
what?
Tiffany.
I must have a message for her because I was about to ask you, does your producer have a question?
Yes, she does.
I'm feeling like she's got a question. Okay, so come on, can she get in on the radio show too and talk to me and ask me her question?
I don't know. Let me ask her.
Or can she ask me her question through you?
Yes, she can. What is your question? Tiffany, what is your question? I know she's listening. What is your question? Let's see what she has to say. Oh, she's typing. Hold on. She's typing.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're greedy here at Goldilocks. Oh, about the production company. The advertisement before the show is that Goldilocks Production is in its 4th year. Congratulations to Tiffany White Sage Woman, Reverend Tiffany White Sage Woman, who is our producer, probably the nicest producer I have had the privilege of working with so far. They're all different. They all have their niche, but Tiffany is very good at this, and I enjoy working for her. We have started season 5. She's telling me she'd like to know about the production company. Is it going to grow?
Okay, Tiffany. Let me just tell you this. And ask her to type the answers to you, okay? Is she losing sleep over this at night? She's not sleeping good. And I feel like she feels like there's something that's going on that isn't really right, that she can't quite put her hands on, her fingers on it, but she knows something is not going quite right. So she's like kind of turned upside down about it. Tell her not to worry. She can get it under control, but I can tell you this. She is going to, I think she's going to make some changes with it. There may be some other people, some other women that she's working with in her production company that might be a bit, well, the word deceitful is coming through to me. I'm sorry to say that. But I think that she's going to put her foot down about this when she really gets the picture about what it is, once she knows for sure which way it's coming from. She's going to put her foot down about this. I think she's going to make some major changes regarding it. And it's not going to be easy, but I do think she will be able to get it under control. Tiffany, if you feel that you need some legal advice, I don't know if you have the money to actually get it right now, but explore it. Definitely explore it. You can answer questions, but whatever you do, keep this to yourself.
She says on the radio. It's kind of funny. She's replying that she has been waking up lately. Her mind has been going all about work, drives me crazy. And she said that was the last production company she was with, and she's laughing that you're right. This time it's just, she says it's just me and the guides running this show now, and my amazing elite show host. Thank you, Tiffany. There's several great hosts on this on Goldilocks Productions. And so she's talking about that. So you are right on. And she is talking about making changes. So you are right on about that.
All right. So tell her this as well. I'm hearing the words, I need you. It's not me that's saying it. It's the spirit that's saying it. I need you to calm yourself down. I need you to get your emotions balanced, okay? Because you can do two things at once, but I need you to be more balanced about it. I need you to sleep at night. So I'm hearing that you may need to adjust your eating habits, more specifically taking specific vitamins and minerals. You can find out what vitamins and minerals that you need to help calm you down, because the worst is behind you. And I think a little bit of that, what happened in the past, is still what's bugging her here in the present. So the spirit is telling me she needs to balance out her emotions, and then if there's still any legal stuff that's going on, not to worry, because it's going to be settled, and it'll be settled in your favor. There's a lot of hope there. And I think there's another young man that she may be meeting as well. I'm not going to say that he's a lover, but he
I hope
may
not, because
be
she's married.
someone.
That would be ugly.
Okay. And he's young.
Mm-hmm.
He's a young guy, and he communicates. So he may be somebody that she might be a little skeptical about at first, but just give him a little time. He may work out really good. He's in communications, so he may
it could be something
able.
with this production company.
Right.
She replied to you, yes, I am fine-tuning my diet, thank you, more healthier. I don't have any legal stuff going on, but, you know, with the new production company, that may be a contract. Legal stuff could be a contract. If she does meet someone who's another producer for her or something, she may need a contract. So that it could apply to there. And she says, yes, she can see ahead. No doubt, Tiffany says. No doubt. So she's very pleased by that reading.
Well,
and,
the sun is
now
there too, so your company is going to do really, really well.
Oh, good. She says, I am very grateful. Thank you. That's good. Tiffany is a cheerleader for all of us, and if she does well, we do well. So that's great. I've talked to her about some future projects with her, and I plan on working with her more. I'm going to bring up your website again, Fairy Dust Card Readings, plural.com. Don't miss this tarot card class for beginners, September 23rd, 2019 through September 26th, 2019, 7 to 9 on Zoom. You can pick up a pack of cards very easily, and the class is very reasonably priced, limited to 15 people, so get yourself scheduled in there. Where else are you going to be? What's going on for you? You have me on here, Blog Talk Radio. What else? Where else are you appearing? What's going on?
I'm going to be at the Mystic Fair in Sarasota on September 27th and 28th, I think it is.
Oh, you're doing
or
the
28th
Mystical
and
Bazaar?
29th.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there. And there's a couple other things that I'm working on that are they're not solidified yet. So, but that's the most recent thing that I'll be doing coming up the end of this month.
Now, that is a really big fair that is run by Spirit University in Sarasota, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It will be at the Sarasota Municipal Building on Route 41, Tamiami Trail. What were the dates again, Evie?
September 28th. Let me just get in here and take a look because
I think it's the 28th and 29th. I know it's 2 days. It's a Saturday, Sunday.
It is a Saturday and a Sunday. So if it isn't the 28th and 29th, it's the 27th and 28th.
Okay. That is a very popular undertaking. I've worked it before. I'm not working it this year because I have something else. But it's usually a very successful fair, very entertaining. They really go all out, Spirit U, on this. It is really a unique experience. So please, if you're in the area, look up Evie. She is one of the best readers going. You know, when you see the pros going to her, you know she's good because people like myself seek her advice. You know, there's no messing around. I mean, she knows, as you have heard, she delivers. So that's another wonderful thing. I also want to talk about a minute. I want to talk about when you book a reading with you. Now, you have several selections, which I also like. You have 30-minute card readings. You have 60 minutes, 120. Wow, you really stay in that for a long time. I don't think I can handle that. How does that feel?
Really? Well, you know, sometimes when the spirit is going, it just goes. You know, the only thing about the psychic fairs are, you know, I give people the option of whether or not they want 15 minutes or a half an hour.
Right.
And some will say half, some will say 15. But a lot of times, even though they ask for 15, the spirit doesn't want to stop.
Right, right.
Minutes. So I'll give them the option, do you want to continue? Because it's like the spirit still wants to talk. So I find that it's not difficult for me to sit for 2 hours with someone because over the years, especially after doing it with friends, before I knew I really had the ability, there would be times we'd be hanging out and we'd be together 2-3 hours. And I would read for people, so it's not something that I do on a regular basis anymore, not because I don't want to. It's just that not that many people ask me for that much time. But I get plenty of people who ask me for an hour, and I can go.
Wow.
It's okay.
That's amazing. Absolutely
once
amazing.
Once in a blue moon, the spirit won't have that much to say. But I can guarantee you this: most of the time, when their time is up, the spirit is saying no, not yet, unless they want to leave. That kind of thing. So I don't have a problem with that. I can do up to 2 hours.
That's fabulous. I take my hat off to you. That's absolutely amazing because I find it. I do shorter readings. It just. I get in and get out is the way I train myself to get in and get out because I find which probably wears me out more. I mean, I'm a little slower now than I used to. I kind of take my time. I'm retired. I don't have to work that hard. But I admire people that can keep going like that. I find it kind of wears me out, especially at psychic fairs. But you're always booked. Do you do anything besides tarot? I think you have some other abilities I didn't touch on. Is there anything else that you do that's a specialty to you? Because I feel like there's something else here I'm not touching.
Well, I feel like, let's talk about Miss Myrna just briefly.
Right.
She did a reading for me one time, and she said, Evie, you have to write a book. And she's told me that repeatedly. And I'm like you, like, what book? What is it? I was like, and I feel like I should, but I just haven't, other than writing down my dreams, which I don't write them every single time, unless there's something that really stands out, then I record it. And then sometimes, because of what I've dreamt, I'll see it happen the very next day, or sometimes shortly after that. And when they connect, then I'll write down reality what happened, so that I can show myself that I dreamt this first, and this is, this spirit is communicating to me. So I guess I'm kind of like you in a sense. It's at least. I think you're a little bit further ahead than me because at least you started writing something. I don't feel like I started writing anything. And I'm kind of like you, I don't know what to do yet, so I guess I need to take my own advice.
Well, I'll tell you,
and,
I think
just
when
relax
it
and
hits
let
you,
the spirit do it.
like it did with the other book that I started with, which is really well written. I mean, I have an editor that is just waiting for me to do, that is willing to help me. But I haven't produced anything more for her. She loved what I gave her. I had the cover and everything picked out, ready to rock and roll. And then the circumstance, I was writing about circumstances that had happened to me, and the story's not finished yet. So, frankly, I'm kind of at a standstill, and I'm not really sure which way to go with it. And I could finish it one way or the other way. I just haven't decided. And it's kind of like out there. So now when I look at it, which I haven't looked at it, other ideas are popping into my mind, but I don't know if they're the right idea. So I think what I'm trying to say is, once spirit got a hold of me, this was not unusual for me on a weekend to be 12 hours at the computer writing. This was, you're just overtaken. You have no idea you forget to eat. If the dogs hadn't peed on my leg, I don't think I would have even realized I needed to let them out, I mean, I was like somewhere else. I can't even explain it. So I think when this happens to you, we're both going to know. And if we're incommunicado, people, that's what we're doing.
Right.
we're not answering the phone. We're trying to write these books.
Right. Oh, my God.
I think it's great. Well, Evie, you are amazing. My producer she's saying, this is amazing. What a great show. I had to leave some callers saying if they're okay, they were listening. If they want to join, the next time you come on, I'm sure They will be
yes, I would love
lining up. And are you in Sarasota?
No, I'm down in Naples.
Oh,
but
you're in
I
Naples.
would drive up to Sarasota. Yeah, I don't have a problem getting in the car and driving because that's just a part of me. So
because I know you do fairs all over, right?
Yeah, I do, but most of my fairs are up in Sarasota.
Right. And Naples also has some good fairs.
Yes, Naples too.
Yeah, Candid Stratford is amazing. Event planner, has psychic fairs all over Florida, actually. So
yes, she does.
I am out of time, and I wish I wasn't. I want to thank all of our callers, and Evie, thank you so much for being such a joy this evening and sharing.
You are so very welcome.
Thank you for sharing with us.
I would love to do it again, Carolan.
Oh, I'd love to have you. It's wonderful. You're fast. You're quick. You're interesting. You're self-taught. It's amazing, and you're telling people to trust their intuition. God bless you, Evie, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
As well.
Thank you.
Too.
And
bye-bye.
Thank you. Next time, listeners, have a good night. Bye-bye.